Hey, what is up, everybody? It is your girl JoJo, and I am here with yet another edition of Quarantine and Chill. This is going to be the Amazon Prime edition. So, even though Netflix has a lot more shows, I would say that Amazon Prime kind of takes the quality over quantity approach. They have less shows and less movies, but I think their shows I kind of find myself a little bit more interested in than my Netflix series, but it kind of just depends on what we're talking about. So it depends on what you're into, I guess I should say. So just sit back and relax, and hopefully some of these suggestions will be good to you. Yeah, so let's just go ahead and get to it. Okay, to start off with the Amazon Prime shows, it's only right to get it started with my very favorite show on Amazon Prime, which is Hand of God. Now, before you go and say that you're not going to watch it because it seems religious or sacrilegious and you don't really got time for all that, wait, just give it a chance, because this is definitely no touched by an angel type of feel. It's none of that. So, what we're dealing with is the main character who you see there on the left, Ron Perlman, I think his name is. He looks just like Thanos to me, but anyway. The main character is a very powerful judge, and there's kind of like a metaphor here that you see in the title of the story, The Hand of God. God who is, judgmental and all ruling, and he is the same way. He rules with an iron fist. He's not really light on the clients or the prisoners that come in there. He's known for giving harsh sentences. He's known for being tough with his family. And he's a man who is more feared than respected throughout the community, right? So his son, as well as his daughter-in-law, are assaulted, and his son's in the hospital for quite some time. But during this time, he begins to receive these messages and these visions, and they're nothing like I said, no touch by an angel. Nothing like you would think you would be receiving from God per se, but he does say that he's receiving all of this from God. He's found at the beginning of the series in a fountain with no clothes on, and he's seemingly muttering, but they later say that he's speaking in some type of ancient language, which we would know to be speaking in tongues, but speaking in some type of ancient language, and it's very cryptic. And the whole time he's getting these signs and visions about his son's case, his court cases, his life, his family, and even in the visions that he's getting, it's very cutthroat. It's all very cold-blooded. It's all very sinister. So it's nothing like the God that's depicted sometimes on some of these shows, but it's very much like it's giving you Old Testament vibes. So check it out, you guys. It is my very favorite show on Amazon, and I was so disappointed to find out that it wasn't going to continue for a fourth season, but I think that you all will enjoy it. Okay, so the rest I'll do in no particular order. Now, this next show is called The Feed, and The Feed was originally, I think, a British television series. This is another one of those ones that I feel like just doesn't get the reviews it deserves. So, The Feed is about a scientist who develops a new technology called The Feed, and it's basically where your thoughts and emotions can literally be felt anywhere, anytime, any place. The feed is in you, it's inside of you. Your thoughts and emotions can be conveyed to another person, all of your social media, your visions. If you are pregnant, you can check on your baby using the feed. If you want to call somebody, you can use the feed. And you see how this eye is? That's basically where your feed is reflected. And so the show is good because to me it personifies technology and the places that it's going, and how it really could be to our detriment, honestly. And I think that's like the interesting but scary part about it. But the feed ends up falling into the wrong hands, and it's basically hacked, and some of the people who are using the feed begin to see murderous things, and it leads them to kill people, and it leads into like this cult type situation, and it's just a disaster. But I think the show is interesting because it points to a lot of the things that we go through in society today with the increasing of our technology. I mean, it is a teenager that is addicted to his feed on the show to the point where he has these signs and visions. And I think at one point he was having seizures and he needed a therapist. There are some kids on there that are so addicted to their feed that they can't play with a basketball. They don't know what a skateboard is because they're not used to doing these activities physically. They do it on their feed. Like, it's crazy. One of the brother of the scientist that invented it, he has these sexual thoughts about his ex-wife, and he brings her up in his office like a virtual reality teenage version of her to have sex with. I mean, it's the craziest thing, you guys. And it points to the benefit of technology, but also the scary part of technology. Like, you guys need to watch it. It really didn't get the views it deserved. So check it out and let me know what you think. Okay, so our next show is called Goliath, and this show kind of gets mixed reviews. It was actually one of the very first shows that I watched on Amazon Prime, but some people seem to like it, some people not so much. I enjoyed it when I watched it. So it's about a very unconventional lawyer named Billy McBride, and he has this crew of people behind him. Even though he normally works solo, he ends up with this crew of people who, I mean, it's just like a motley crew of people that end up helping him out. He's kind of trashy, he drinks, he works out of a hotel and lives out of a hotel, but he's good at what he does. And the team that he has helps him to be good at what he does, and he's good at solving his cases. The first season is a hoot because he actually goes up against his ex-wife, who is a very high-profile lawyer, so that's always interesting. But it's a pretty good show, and I definitely get some laughs off of it as well, so you can kind of see it as both a comedy and a drama. So watch that one and let me know what you think. Alright, so our next show is called Counterpart. Counterpart is a show, I think it was originally broadcasted on Stars. I don't believe it is showing anymore. The show is good, however, it's one of those shows that you have to pay attention to or you will get lost. So Counterpart is basically two men living in two separate realities, but those realities are happening at the exact same time. So it's like me, JoJo, in 2020, and then there's another JoJo living in, like, I don't know, the 1960s. And even though they are the same person, their realities are totally different. However, there's a group of people who are trying to undertake this alternate world, these two separate realities. Then there's kind of like a fight going on between different realities. And the thing is that there's some people who know, but there's a lot of people who don't know. And so those people are at risk of faltering to the people who know and who are trying to start these fights and these wars and all this drama. And the two men end up switching places in their realities. One is like very much a boss. The other one is very, mild-mannered. They even have the same exact wife, but the wives are different and they love them differently, and everything is just different. That's all I can say. And it's very interesting. It's kind of like you get to see yourself. It's like if you get to see yourself really, really making it in life versus not really making it in life, or really being a loving person versus being a-hole, and what you get out of it. So that part's interesting, but also just the things that are going on, and some of that stuff parallels to what's going on now. So check it out, but if you watch it, just make sure you pay attention or you're going to be really lost. All right, next on the list, we have Mad Dogs. Now look, I'm going to go ahead and let you know now, because everybody always gets mad at me when I do not tell them that this show only has one season. It is only one season. I think it was originally a British show as well. However, they decided not to go on with the production of this show. But the one season is great. You should still watch it. It is about a group of men who get together for a retirement party in Belize. And I don't know what kind of issues are attached to that house, but next thing you know, it's all kind of problems. What was supposed to be a lighthearted, fun, good time with the boys is fueled with bad decisions, A whole bunch of missteps. There's a lot of comedy in it too, but these men are literally running for their lives the entire show, and they're all just trying to get back home to where life made sense before this retirement party. And it's all extremely interesting. That little thing that you see here on the screen, that little bear, cat, panda, whatever that is with the gun. Oh my gosh, it scared the mess out of me the whole time I watched it. I don't do well with stuff like that. But the show is so good. It's actually funny mixed with a little drama, and it's so many twists and turns. You never really know where it's going to go. So check out Mad Dogs, even though it does only have one season. I think the one season is worth it. All right, now Sneaky Pete is low key my show, y'all. I'm not even gonna hold you. It is low key my show. Um, this show is about a con man who you see pictured here, who gets out of jail, and he is going to run a con on an inmate's family. The inmate's name is Pete. Pete has told him everything about his life, and so he's going to run a con on a family so he can lay low while he completes a different con that he had going on before he left, and there's people after him, so he's going to kind of hide out with this family. But the family thinks that he is their relative Pete that they have not seen in years and years and years, and he gets so wrapped in with this family and all of the stuff that they have going on that he can't even run his cons successfully. So the family is a mess. My favorite person on the show is the grandfather. I don't know if you guys watch King of the Hill, but y'all remember on King of the Hill, the granddad lost his knees in the war. The man on Sneaky Pete, the grandfather, walks just like the man who lost his knees on King of the Hill. So it cracks me up, but he's my favorite character. I love him. The grandmother, who is like a ball buster, she is my other favorite character. But the whole family has a slew of problems that they kind of put onto Pete. He finds himself having to help out, but he also finds himself endeared to the family somewhat, even as he's trying to run this con. So I think it has 3 seasons. I'm pretty sure it's up for a fourth. So y'all check out Sneaky Pete. You will laugh, but you'll also find yourself enthralled in the drama too. All right, so the next show on the list is Bosh. Bosh is one of those shows that's not like, it's not particularly riveting. It's not anything that's gonna like, it's nothing you've ever seen before. It is like a regular detective show, but if you like those type of shows and you like good writing in those type of shows, you will enjoy Bosh. It is on its 5th season, I believe, going into the 6th, so that should tell you that people are still interested. On the show, he is solving the murder of a 13-year-old boy in season 1, and then it just continues on from there. So every single season is not focused on that one thing, but it still plays its part. And you also start to find out things about Bosh as he solves these different mysteries about his own childhood and why this is affecting him so much and why he's so interested in solving the case. And it's like 2 stories that parallel. So I think you will enjoy it. Obviously, the viewers enjoy it because it's had a lot of longevity on Amazon. So check this one out most definitely. Next up, we have The Man in the High Castle. I believe it is on its 4th season, and it is the final season. The Man in the High Castle is about what would have happened if we would have not won the war and the Japanese would have won instead, and what kind of society we would have been under. It is very interesting to see some of the dynamics and the changes that would have went forth. The one thing that I will say about The Man in the High Castle is another show where you need to pay attention or you are going to be lost. But there's a lot of twists and turns in this one as well. As you can see, I have a certain type of show I like to watch. But there's a lot of twists and turns. I think the story is well thought out, and it's kind of interesting to see the things that would have come into play had the American people not have won the war. So you can check this one out too. All right, I had to come back and re-record the one for the boys because I gave away a spoiler, and my apologies to Home Slice Adulting. Girl, you know I still love you. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, but I will say that this is like a spin on all of the things that we know about superheroes that we see on Marvel Comics. So normally you see the superheroes as like these celebrities and everybody loves them, but on this show it's going to end up being the exact opposite, and the boys are the people who are going to expose the superheroes and the organization that they work for who they really are. And I'll just say there's some secrets because I didn't know that. I feel so bad. I'm so sorry. So yes, you guys, I'll just leave it at that. And my apologies again to Home Slice Adulting because she was in the process of watching the show, but it's a good one, so check it out. All right, everybody, that is it. I want to say thank you so much for watching my second edition of Quarantine and Chill. Our third edition will be up sometime soon. It is going to be a mix, though, of Hulu shows as well as shows I watch on YouTube or have watched, because my Hulu list really isn't as long. So I'm going to combine the two of those. But thank you again for watching, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.